Secure some price from the historic Wall Center. Rob Williams is the national sports editor of the Daily Hive and its Offside Sports vertical. Rob, the hockey guy on Twitter, he joins us Thursdays. How are you? Merry Christmas, Rob.
Merry Christmas, guys. Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah,
fabulous.
Quite good.
Better than the Canucks last night.
Yeah.
For damn sure.
Yeah. Rob, is the market turning on JT Miller?
It depends on the day, right? I mean, if he stays on that extended shift in overtime and delivers that pass to Garland and he buries it, then that's just JT digging down deep, doing what he's got to do to pull out the win. So it's all perspective, right? Like winning solves a lot. The puck going in solves a lot. But when you're struggling and there's all this noise around the team and people are seemingly picking sides in the PD Miller fiasco or whatever the heck is going on there, everything's heightened. So there's definitely more heat on Miller these days.
Can you believe that they, never mind strategy or just they know the optics, the power play switcheroo with either of them do-side-doing and being apart from each other on the two power. It's almost amazing they didn't do the calculus on what that looks like. Maybe they did, and they still thought the benefit was there on the ice. But I mean, I'm honestly jaw on the floor here over the last couple of games.
Yeah, that makes me think. I mean, especially switching it up, having Miller on PP1 on Monday, and then Pettersson on PP1 on Wednesday, that makes you think, okay, it's not like they think that this is just the best group of five that they have, because it made a little more sense on Monday because it was like, okay, they're reverting back to the power play unit that was clicking while Miller was out.
Right.
That made some sense. But then to now switch it and go, no, okay, now Miller's there and Pettersson's going to sit on the bench. Do you need Connor Garland on the first unit power play that badly? Do you need Jake DeBrusk on there that badly? Is that what it is? How is taking off one of your two most talented players the move? So that just it fuels the fire of, and look, I don't know what's going on between Miller and Pettersson. I just, we hear the rumblings from insiders about what's going on between these two guys. It was interesting that they were bringing up that relationship while JT was out. It just gets everyone talking about this. But then what is it? It's just it just fuels the fire because you wonder, okay, is it just so bad that they can't even be on the ice together? Are they not, is it that bad? It just seems so bizarre. They played on the power play together for, since Miller got here 5 years ago. What is it? And I just think ultimately, they have to make it work with those two guys on the first power play unit.
Yeah. I mean, as I said in the opening, if they can't even play on the same sheet of ice, that's wholly unprofessional. And now
that was the caveat,
you're affecting the money and the careers of all the other players on the bench, the coaching staff, the managers, what have you. Let's ask you the Surrey Mitsubishi poll question, though. Let's go big picture with Rob Williams. Can they overcome this drama and contend for a cup?
I think so. There's been, famously teams that have won where not everyone got along great. I think winning solves a lot. I think that when you have a situation like this and there's a bit of turmoil and the team's not playing as up to their standards, these things get heightened more, right? Whereas if you do start to pick it up, if you start winning, all of this goes to the background, right? If you have a problem with the guy sitting next to you in the dressing room and you're losing, now it's a problem, right? If you've got a problem with them and you're winning, you can kind of, I think both guys can probably ignore the things that they're not thrilled about, and there's probably fewer things that float to the surface that bother them when they're winning. So if they can, I think winning will solve a lot. So if they can turn it around, and I don't see why they couldn't turn around in season. I don't see why they couldn't get on a roll and contend. I mean, can they contend? I don't think it'll be the Miller Pettersson fiasco that is the reason why they can't contend. I think it'll be because they don't have enough depth on defense and a few other things.
I want to loop back to the opening question about Miller and fans. At the very least, we're already seeing this in responses, and you're a fan base expert. Is the fan base going to decamp here a little bit and turn against each other? We have seen some spicy chats both on the live show and just in response to tweets, etc. I can't remember. I mean, we'd have to go back 20 years maybe to see a split like this within the Vancouver Canucks fan base.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's one of those things. Like if you're left to decide one or the other, now that opens it up for debate, right? Pettersson has been the guy under the microscope for the most part. This feels like the last few games of Miller. Like, look, he's going to take some time to get back up to speed, right? And I think JT Miller is an excellent hockey player, but I mean, the play in overtime where he extends the shift, he's trying to do too much. I really looked at that shift. It's a long shift. He's standing still for large parts of it. Like he's standing in front of the net, trying going for the screen. He's not, it wasn't like he was burning up and down the ice. I would have liked to see him back check more on that. Like that, I would have thought there was more gas left in the tank to get back. So is that because of the long layoff that he's not quite in tip-top game shape? Is it a mental thing that he just didn't have it in him to bust his ass back to break up the 2-on-1? I don't know, but that kind of a play reminds me of JT Miller from 2 years ago, where it seemed like he was trying to be the hero on too many plays, giving up breakaways, going the other way, and that sort of thing. And that was kind of what I thought Tocchet coached that out of him last season. And now it seems to be creeping back a little bit. Of course, he was benched before his leave of absence for a reason. So, yeah, I mean, they've got to figure that out with Miller because he was phenomenal last year, and it seemed like he had left that out of his game.
We got to hang on to pucks and play predictably. It's one of our staples. It's a non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
We're with fan base expert Rob Williams here. By the way, you are a fan base expert.
He is.
It's a superpower. I've never heard you put it so succinctly, but that's effectively we go to Rob to get the pulse of the people. So well done, Rob. Way to carve out your niche.
We all need niches.
Yeah, absolutely.
That and seats, guys.
Seats. Right. Wow,
yeah, of course.
Anything stadium right now. Come on.
By the way, Four Nations face-off around the corner. Will we see more black seats in the arena? They told us we'd see. Remember they said
they got a little window there. Well done.
But remember they told us they were going to start doing it this season. So we'll see.
Right. I can only imagine the whiteboard in Rob's office. Like
what sections are black?
Check on seats.
He's got all
note to self.
All the black seats.
Do you have a calendar
off.
event for black seats somewhere in February?
Guys, I've been sending Noah to the rink every single day to check on the seat update. Poor guy.
Poor Noah. Go count the black seats, son. You were there for the brief Tocchet post-game press conference Monday, and he wasn't very verbose yesterday either. What do you think's up there, Rob?
I mean, yesterday there were almost no local media there, so hard to read too much into it. Yesterday,
he got 7 questions though in a minute 25.
Yeah.
And 7 questions sometimes for talk. That's 2.5 hours. Mm-hmm. Like that is a dissertation. That is a university lecture.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Tocchet has been so great. As a media member, just like so honest. I think fans really appreciate it. And, kind of has a way, I've always sort of felt he's had a way of like guiding the narrative within the city. Like, he talks, if he starts talking about Höglander and his back checking, now all of a sudden Höglander's back checking is the focus. And I think a lot of the discussion takes cues from talking. So I think he has a lot of power to do that for good. And I guess, subsequently the rub on that is if he maybe misspeaks, maybe we take that and run with that as well. So I thought it was really interesting on Monday. It was just bizarre because it was a great win. Kiefer Sherwood with the natural hat trick. I was up in the press box and I was ready to just this is the Kiefer Sherwood show. Let's glow about Sherwood. Demko was excellent. It's going to be a feel-good night at Rogers Arena. There's been too many nights where we're asking the same boring questions about why can't you win at home. And I thought it was going to be different. And, for the most part, it was with, when speaking to the players. And then Tocchet comes out and just delivers a very bizarre press conference where he begins by just name checking like more than half the team and just sort of saying, that's my summary. And I'm only going to take a couple questions. Like I'm just going to take a couple questions and that's it. And 3 media members asked questions. One was in-house media. And that was it. And it was like, he was gone. And I was thinking, well, what is going on here? Because I left that press conference. I entered the room being all about Kiefer Sherwood narratives and how can you not love the way he plays and what a big night for him. I left the room obsessed with the press conference that Tocchet had just delivered and just going and everyone's just sort of talking about what was it? Like, did he have the flu? He was wearing a sweater. He doesn't normally wear a sweater on a game night.
It was cold apparently, right? Extra cold that day. Or maybe that was it too.
Well,
I remember I've been saying when he doesn't speak though, other stories fill the void, and they, as you said, what he says controls the narrative often. If he's not speaking, the void gets filled. Like they
should
off.
want him speaking.
Right.
He Rob's 1,000,000% right. Yeah. Mayor of Wrightville, right, Rob, with regards to Tocchet controlling the narratives in the city because he speaks with such command and authority.
Right.
Like even above and beyond what a typical coach speaks with, because he's got charisma, he's got flair, he's got command of all of it. So yeah, you're 100% right, and he has been extraordinary. Not just as a media member, Rob. He's been extraordinary. If you want to learn about the game of hockey, you have been richer for that in this market for the last 2 years.
Absolutely, and it begs the question. So why did he cut it short? Because it was clearly a strategy going into the press conference. It was the first question from Brendan Batchelor. It wasn't like it was like a gotcha question or anything like that. Like it wasn't like something upset him in the press conference, and that's how he reacted. This was just the strategy going in, and
we think upper management got to him and said, Saturday, Sunday, you took a couple of runs at the players. We're trying to trade some of these guys, and you're fueling the fire on the Pettersson Miller thing. Does that strike you as a reasonable muzzle?
That's where my mind went as well. I rewatched the presser he gave after the Boston game on Saturday, and that was just classic Tocchet. Like he was, as he has been for 2 years in Vancouver. It's a 180 shift, and to do a 180 shift after a win when the good vibes are there, that was the really bizarre thing. I mean, you think he would just kind of go as normal and just sort of have a strategy when it comes to any talk about Pettersson or Miller. Like that's what I would have expected. Just like anytime he's asked about Pettersson or Miller, keep it pretty short. Keep it pretty positive and vague, and you would think that would be the way to diffuse any talk about those guys. And when he was asked about having Miller on the second power play unit, and he just sort of said, he just basically said that was the plan, and the guys knew about it, and that's it. And it's like, okay, I mean, when you give an answer like that, there's not much we can do with that. You think that would be the way to diffuse the situation, not have like 5 questions and then we're going home, because that just seems like, okay, so why? And if you're not going to get an explanation on why, then we fill in the gaps and we speculate. That's the reality of the situation when you're in the National Hockey League.
What are the chances of a bounce back versus Vegas based on what we saw there?
See, I've seen the Canucks play 2 games in Vegas since they've entered the league, and they got shellacked both times. So that's like immediately where my mind goes. Like it's going to be tough times in Vegas. They never seem to play well there. Second half of a back-to-back, I think it could be a long night for them.
Well, except for they tend to follow poor games with good games.
Well, they've certainly been doing that. This is a different ass, though.
Tampa, St. Louis notwithstanding, but Talkin mentioned this Monday that, you have a stinker and you have the resilience to come back and play one of your better games of the season. So, it wouldn't make a lot of sense against a better team on the second of back-to-back. But what in this season has made sense, Rob Williams? Can you begin to explain this season and its nonsensicalness, tip to tail? Rob, awesome stuff, buddy. We do not have a show next Thursday, so we wish you and Chelsea and the entire Williams family, Daily Hive family, a very Merry Christmas, and we'll catch up in a couple weeks here.
Sounds great, guys. Hope you have a happy holidays.